We are going to explore today the 5 shifts that each one of us needs to make for achieving and moving into the business and career of our dreams. And this is going to involve integrating a new system to a lot of you. It's called human design. And this has been one of my practices for about 7 years now, in addition to my work as an evolutionary astrologer and a life and business coach. So who is this for today? This is for any one of you that's in career transition. If you feel uncertain about the next step of your mission here, and you're ready to embark on the most fulfilling and financially successful career you've ever had. So we're going to dive into how to do that here today. And any entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, you're in the right place too, because this is for you if you recognize that this tool of self-awareness can enhance your productivity, create new opportunities for you, and bring more revenue into your business with greater ease and flow. So you're an entrepreneur, you're a solopreneur, you want to find your zone of genius and how to live in that zone. Now also, coaches, yogis, and healers, this is also for you. If you want a supremely sophisticated tool for better supporting and understanding your clients, being able to consult and coach with them, and assist them achieving their goals in an efficient way. And then lastly, if you're looking for a new business opportunity. So we're going to share a system today that if you learn about, you can actually bring into your tool belt, to your package of services that you can offer others to help transform your clients' lives. So in the next 30 minutes, you're going to discover the necessity of recognizing the call. We're going to spend some time talking about your unique genius, your calling, which has to do with vocation, the voice that's inside of you. And then secondly, why you want a business model that works optimally for your specific energy, your genetic code. Then we're going to talk about the power of discovering a career path that will be satisfying to your energy, where you can end each day feeling, wow, so happy that I did what I did today, that I feel just excited to do it again. So there's that enrichment, that nourishment from your work. And why making correct decisions can make or break your business. Now, this is all about following your genetic script, which we're going to talk about a lot today. Now, we're also going to look at profit potentials. What does that mean? Where can we find these profit potentials? And how does this system help align us with those? Strategies for confident decision-making in your perfect timing. I know for a lot of us, it's really challenging right now because we're overwhelmed. We're doing so much. We get pulled in so many directions. We have this guru over here telling us to do one thing. We have this guru telling us to do something else. And so we're looking at how to make decisions from an authentic place within ourselves and feel confident doing that. And this is also about discovering a tool that you can use the rest of your life in your business, in your personal life, for your career, for your spiritual growth. So this is going to give you some tools to be more empathic with others and harness more of your innate skills and your talents. And then it gives you an opportunity here to integrate this life-changing information to really step into the business and career where you're experiencing prosperity and you feel like you're living on purpose. So this is my promise to you today, that by the end of this presentation, you'll discover an empowering tool that will increase your self-awareness, help you notice the patterns in your life, and allow you to experience the potential in you waiting to be born. Now, as I said at the beginning, don't leave us because you have an opportunity today for a mini reading. So we're going to do a few attendee charts today in this human design system. And so if you can stay on the call, please stay. And there's also going to be some bonuses for you if you can make it to the end when we talk further about the system and studying deeper. So stay on. If you have some questions, great. You can put them in the chat box. We'll see how much time we have. We're shooting for less than an hour today. And once again, thank you for showing up for today's call. So here's a little bit about me. I mentioned I'm the founder of Divine Timing Coaching and the creator of Divine Timing Online School. There's about 10 courses there that you can study at your own pace. So for 13 years, I've been a life and business coach, experiential evolutionary astrology teacher, bringing that archetypes into the body, and also creating online courses and integrating multiple esoteric systems to help my clients succeed in their personal and professional lives. And my mission is to help you align with your natural gifts, to develop your leadership skills, to find the most creative environments in which to thrive, and to help you focus your energy into a career that supports you expressing your potential and being of joyful service to the planet. That's what I get to do every day, and that's what I love helping my clients to do. So now, this is something that I want you to really tune into here today. So we're going to start by asking a little question here. And if you do ever hear yourself say these things, just throw a comment into the chat box of the one or two that really stand out for you, okay? And this is going to help us see what's really going on collectively for us right now. I'm stressed and overwhelmed. Do you ever hear yourself say that? Or I feel frustrated and discouraged. It's a big one for a lot of us right now. I'm sick of feeling undervalued and not appreciated. All right. So anyone feel that one? I feel unfulfilled and stuck. Unfulfilled and stuck. I'm worried and I feel anxiety. Anxiety has become a plague in our culture. So I'm worried and I feel anxiety. And then it feels like something essential is missing. So which of these stands out for you? Let's just give a moment for a couple comments. Yes, all of them, Aaron says. Yeah. Had a dream about feeling undervalued. Wow. Not appreciated and stuck. Barbara, feels like something essential is missing. Joanne, the first two. First three. All right, so we got pretty much everyone on board with these. And just two more questions. Does this sound like you? Are you tired of repetitive tasks done for others and ready to embark on a career that inspires your soul and ignites your energy and allows you to experience harmony and flow? And do you get burnout taking care of tasks that don't maximize your gifts and end up draining your precious energy? This is big for a lot of us. We have a lot of energy to burn at times, but then we're doing it maybe in the wrong areas of life. And we'll talk about that today and how this system can reflect this back to you and a better use of your energy. And lastly, do you ever feel like you may be using marketing strategy? If you are a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, you thought those strategies would work, but they don't really resonate with you and your style or your audience. Is that you? Do you second guess yourself and realize your intuition was right all along? That's a big one for us. I should have listened to myself. And now you're still making business and career decisions from a place of fear and scarcity, okay? So let's see. Do we have any comments on those? So exhausted doing things for others and feeling undervalued. The intuition one and fear, absolutely. Well, you guys are in the right place. And, you know, if you did say yes to any of these, then you're ready for our 5 shifts today, the 5 key shifts to the business and career of your dreams. And once you make these shifts, you're going to know that your yes is a yes when you're saying it, and your no is a no. So we're talking about boundaries. We're talking about appropriate use of your energy, which means having clarity and conviction in your voice, speaking your truth, and being in integrity with that. And you're stopping looking for the answers outside of yourself, that outer validation, and instead searching and sourcing the truth from within. And with these 5 shifts, you're going to know you're in the right business model and that it's one that doesn't stress you out, but actually excites you. And that you'll feel that soul satisfying career instead of a work that we call the 4-letter word, you know, W-O-R-K, like I have to do my work or go to work. And instead of that, we want to really feel like we're in that vocation, that calling. Vocation means voice, following the voice, vocare. And you will have a deep appreciation of your gifts and the gifts of others. So let's dive into the 5 shifts. The first is readiness and willingness. Okay, so if you're going to have the career that you've always wanted, you have to be ready for quite a few transformations in your life. And this is, first of all, a willingness to grow, to evolve, and to step up and out. This is a big theme this year, astrologically and collectively. I know we're feeling this. It's time to go to the next level, to upgrade, right? To up level. And so that means not hiding away any longer. This means making a commitment to ourselves, taking action and being accountable for our success. No one is going to do it for us. There's no magic bullet. There's hard work, there's willingness, and there's strategy. And as we're going to talk about next, there's knowing oneself as deeply as you can. But first, we have to have the cure in curiosity. This is having passion to know all aspects of ourselves and to harness our latent power and potential. So curiosity can go a long way to our path to success. And one of the most important things with being willing is that it's not comfortable, because it's going to stretch you to your edges. You know, and there's that famous quote that everything we truly want is just outside our comfort zone. Have you heard that one? So yeah, it's not cozy in there because we are breaking out of that box. We're breaking out of the definitions where we've been, you know, stuck in our lives. And so that requires a lot of willingness to move forward. Also, if you stay stuck, you're going to get bored, right? You're going to get exhausted and you're going to feel ultimately unsatisfied. So what are you willing to be curious about for the rest of your life? Something that you feel insatiable in your appetite for always learning more of, and that you're gladly sharing it with everyone you know. So this is a question. Just take a moment here. What are you willing to be curious about the rest of your life? Something that just juices up your soul. You know, if money was no issue, if anything, you would just spend your time checking this out, learning about this, staying curious about this your whole life. So what is that? Put your answer into the chat box. Astrology and travel. Well, you have a friend in that one. That's definitely me as well. Art and astrology, the world, our planet, soul, divinity, and psyche. These are amazing. Astrology, numerology. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Wonderful. So whatever we're curious about, you know, that really is a sign of our calling. You know, it's a sign of that vocation. So in order to step into that calling, we have to make the second shift. We have to commit to self-awareness. This is absolutely key. The more we know ourselves, the more we're going to know our potentials to serve. So if you're not willing to be self-aware, that means really taking stock of everything, then the negative patterns can repeat, and this can cause suffering. It's difficult to connect with yourselves and others in a meaningful way if you don't know yourself. And it's also really important to understand the patterns in order to evolve the patterns, right? So if we don't see what that pattern is, how can we raise the frequency of its expression, you know? And that's what's so wonderful about studying systems and having these tools of self-awareness. Now, also, you can't take responsibility for things you aren't aware of, you know? That's really hard to do. What you don't know can hurt you, and it can hurt others. And that's why we have to continuously do the self-transformational process that we're all going through right now. You also can't benefit from the aspects of yourself that create abundance and create success and harness prosperity in your life if you don't know yourself. So this is that commitment to self-awareness. Now here you see the image of the eye and know thyself, which comes from the Oracle of Delphi, which I was blessed to travel to this summer in Greece. And, you know, that was the hot spot of the world, and all of its prophets and priestesses and seers, everyone came there to know themselves deeper. And right now we have the blessing of having these tools, these systems of self-awareness So we can kind of bring Delphi to us. You know, we have these online communities and these online trainings like we're going to talk about today, where we can access this eternal wisdom and the wisdom that's living in our genes. So this is such a great opportunity for us living today to know ourselves, to commit to self-awareness. And I'll tell you, when I committed to studying self-awareness and my own self, I immediately became my own boss. I created my own schedule. I set up location independence for myself. I attracted the ideal clients I wanted to work with. And so every day I'm really excited, juiced up about my work, and love doing it all the time. And I feel like I'm living on purpose. And that's what this is all about here today, is finding that which feels like you're living on purpose, bringing meaning to your life and the lives of others. So are you ready for a supreme tool of pattern recognition and a practical vocabulary of self-awareness? All right, let's dive in. Here we go. Align with your design. This is the third shift. Third shift for stepping into the career and business success, or business of your dreams. So human design, this is a system that really validates the intuitions you've had about yourself, but maybe you've never known how to language it. I know that was for me. You know, it's like there was a bunch of revelations. I'll show you my design in a few moments, but it was putting vocabulary, language to intuitions I've had, you know, and then by having that language, was able to integrate it into my life and bring it into practice. So your body graph, this is called a body graph over here. This body graph is based on your unique signature. This is your birth moment. And that birth moment describes your genetic gifts, the gifts that you carry and can offer the world. So if you see on the edge here, we have these 64 numbers. And we'll see this again in another body graph too, but then there's the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. The I Ching is the Taoist oracle, divination oracle of 5,000 years of age. So the 64 codons in our DNA that we carry, each one of us, are related to the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. And those hexagrams relate to patterns of nature. They're like archetypes of nature. Those are living in our genes. And depending on that moment of birth, how we are constellated, we carry a specific recipe of that genetic soup. And that becomes our unique gifts to offer the planet. So when you discover the specialized codes, those genetic codes that you carry to facilitate evolution and growth on the planet, that you feel you're serving something larger than yourself and you're using your energy in a way that feels satisfying and enriching. And also, what's so beautiful with design is that it allows you to appreciate the unique offerings of others and empathize with their motivations. So it can really help with the tendency in all of us to judge. You know, we live in a very judgmental world right now. It's all over the place, especially in the US with politics and all of that. And this tool really helps us to savor the differences that make each of us special. And this is wild, but year after year, you know, there's things like the Gallup poll, think tanks, you know, they do these studies, and they found that 70% of people don't like their work in the US. 70%, which is wild. So you spend 90,000 hours of your life working. So it's probably important that you know your human design so that you can express your purpose and your gifts in a way that you can thrive and that you can feel excited about. So let's look at some of the benefits of discovering and then living your design. We're going to look at the personal benefits first, then the professional benefits. And they definitely overlap. So when we're talking about in your life, in your relationships, in your spiritual growth, you're going to gain more confidence having this tool. Feeling less stress and pressure. We know that a lot of people said this is something they're feeling so much in their life right now. So this is going to help bring more grace and ease and flow to your life, as well as create more freedom and less burnout for you. Now, understanding how you're influenced by your environment is one of the great gifts, one of the unique gifts that human design offers. It shows us how we get conditioned or influenced by certain people in our life and certain environments in our life. We'll explore that more in a minute. Creating healthier communication is key. So better relationships, improving our connections with others, and developing compassion and appreciation for others. This is one of the great skill sets that we develop by studying our design. And it gives us a tool to do what we love and love what we do. All right, now let's look at the professional benefits. So, if we're going to step up into our entrepreneurial gifts, into our coaching gifts, as a healer, as a consultant, this is where design can really be taken to the next level. So first, you're going to be able, as you study design, to understand your clients and customers a lot better. You're looking at their genetic codes, right? Their unique gifts, where they get conditioned. So you're going to be able to serve them in a much deeper way, quicker, more efficiently. And you're also going to be able to brand yourself, your business, your coaching practice, whatever it may be, according to your design, the model that works for you, very specific to you. Now, you're also going to have easy marketing and promotional strategies that work for your career type. So in human design, there's 5 different career types. A lot of times we're trying to do our career or our business in a type that doesn't really work for us. It's not natural for us. And this is where we feel like we're Sisyphus, trying to roll that boulder up the mountain. And we just have to do that every day again and again. And it doesn't feel like we're successful. So what strategies are going to work for us? And who's our target market? This tool can help us realize that. Now, if we have a team that we work with, maybe we're an entrepreneur, we have a small team, or we're part of a team in a career space, who are these people? What are the career dynamics? What types are here? What specific strengths and contributions does everyone bring? And this can also help in hiring the right people for the right job, because each different career type has different skill sets that it brings. And this is one of the gifts. You're going to know where you fit into the puzzle of a particular workspace or a business that you might be creating for yourself. What role can you play to really be successful in that? And what roles will actually drain you of energy? Has anyone felt like they've been drained in a certain role in their work? I know I have. Especially in my early 20s when I was doing jobs that didn't really work for me at all. Getting trained to use this info professionally to help your clients create their ideal business and career. So you can start to coach them with this tool and end up making money sharing information that you love. So now we're going to look at how, who, what, where, when, and why. So we're going to learn, one of the benefits is that you're going to see how you are here to help others. So your unique superpowers, what you bring to the mix. And what's so cool about design is that it is based on that birth moment. So it's not just like relegated to the whims of a personality assessment online. Some of that can be very helpful, but it could change every time you take the test. But your birth moment doesn't change. Those codes that you carry genetically are always with you. So when to take action is another great skill that you're going to develop professionally. This is all about the right timing. So some people make a decision instantly. This is one of what we call your inner authority in human design, what we call your place of clarity. Some people have this knowing spontaneously in the moment. And it's very instinctual. Now, other people have that knowing, and it takes time. It takes patience. It's an emotional kind of clarity that comes to them. Very different decision-making process, very different timing. Equally valid depending on your design. But when we look at what kind of career you should be in, the relationships in your life, wow, you really need to know that timing piece and how to get that clarity. And that's what design shows you. Now, it also can show you the why you do what you do, your mission. And then this leads you on the path to branding yourself appropriately. What solution you can provide, what problem you can solve, and what results you offer. Now, this is absolutely key when you are creating packages of services for clients. You have to know what solution you're going to solve for them. Who you are here to serve. Those are the clients, that target market again. And where you can use your life experience and genetic strengths to both serve and receive prosperity. So here we go. Let's get into the system a little bit here. I'm not going to go super deep with you, but we're going to share the 9 energy centers in brief with you, because this is the core of the whole human design system. And in my training coming up, we're going to go deep, deep, deep into these centers and what they mean. But I wanted you to first notice that some of these centers are colored and some of them are white. Well, one of them is white here. So in design, in your design, you can have these colored centers, which we call defined centers. And you could have undefined centers, which are these white centers here. Now, the defined centers are what is known as reliable and consistent energy for you. This is where you can harness a specific pattern, a genetic pattern that you can offer back to the world. And it's dependent on these specific channels that you have defined. So here you see this one, the 35-36 here. In the throat, there's the 35, and in the emotional solar plexus center is the 36. So if this person in this chart has this defined, you know that they have an emotional definition. They're going to feel a lot of waves of highs and lows. And it's all about, with this channel, the experience of multiplicity of life and all it offers. It's the channel of versatility. People that have this, they just want to say yes to all that life brings in. But by saying yes to all of it, they need to say yes to everything. And some of those things are not necessarily pleasant. So one of the gifts of this, this channel for this person, for instance, is to be able to be wearing many masks in life. Say yes, be open to experience. But they have to be willing to ride the emotional highs and lows. And that's just an example here. But we have the 9 energy centers, and their definition then determines our career type. So one of the most important centers is known as the sacral center here. This is the generator life force center. This is the main motor inside of us. Now, 70% of the world has this center defined, and that makes us these different career types, these different energy types. In human design, it's known as the generator and the manifesting generator. In terms of the career, it's known as the catalyzer type or the builder type. So the builder, the generator type, or the catalyzer, the manifesting generator. So most of the people on this call will be one of those 2 types. And what's so important for those 2 types is that they use their energy in a way that feels very satisfying, very enriching. And this means that you need to follow what we call your inner authority. Now, for some people, it may be that sacral center, because one of these 9 centers is your go-to center. It's your inner authority. It's your place of clarity. And for sacral people, sacral authority people, they need to get a gut yes. It's a gut response. And we call it the sacral response in human design. And you know, children have this very easily developed in them, right? They just say, if they want something. If they want a certain meal, right? If they want pizza, right? And a lot of us adults have learned to ignore that gut response, that sacral response. And yet for a lot of us, that will bring us clarity every time. We'll know what's right for us. We'll know where to put that energy. And it's not a mental process. And that's what's really a revelation with human design is almost never would we make a mental decision in human design. For most of us, it's coming emotionally. It's coming from our sacral, our life force energy center, the or it's even faster, coming from our spleen, this center over here, which is all about that flight or fight response in us. This is threatening, this is not. This is very animal-like. It's very instinctual and intuitive. Some of us have that as our authority. Some of us need to hear ourselves speak it, and then we get the clarity. And this is what's so valuable with design is it's showing you where you get that inner clarity, depending on your definition. It's all in terms of your genetics. Now, here's what's fascinating with these 9 centers. They actually show you where your profit potentials are. When it comes to making money, you can think of each of these centers as a key to your prosperity because you're going to know where your gifts are. So you have natural ways that you can earn resources, that you can create a business model, you can market yourself, but you also will know where you get fascinated and you educate yourself because those white centers, we learn a lot in those centers that we don't have defined. We're very open there. So we have a lot of insight there, thus we can help people there. And so studying your design helps you fine-tune the instrument inside of you. And that instrument is going to help you create your abundance. And these profit centers, like I said, then determine your career type, how you interact with people, your style, how you assimilate information in your life. All of this is key for the right business and career for you. And the specific strengths that you can contribute, as well as the characteristic qualities you bring to your mission and vocation. Now, I want to give you an example here. So this is my own. And then we're going to give a couple other examples before we look at some people on the call. So stay tuned. I want to just point out one thing really quickly here with my design. And my design, see, I'm the advisor type here. And the advisor is actually a very rare type. It's only 20% of the population. We said that there's the builders, there's the initiators, there's the catalyzers, there's the evaluators. But the advisor is 20% of the population. This is also known as the projector type. And when I first learned about this was a revelation for me, because projectors are here really to act as guides, to facilitate a reflective process for people. Because projectors usually study energy, even when they're young. They study how people use their energy, the better ways to use their energy. They study systems a lot, like astrology and human design and numerology. And what a projector or an advisor, what their gifts are in terms of career, is to be asked for, what is the best way of doing this? What are your thoughts about it? And then the advisor, what they're getting in that moment is recognition. And that's what's so key for the advisors, the projectors of the world. They want to be recognized for their gifts. That could be creative gifts. That can be counseling gifts, coaching gifts, healing gifts. But they can't force that energy out into the world. They can't push it on people. Now, generators and manifesting generators and manifestors, they have this consistent life force, that red square down here. Not manifestors, but the generators and manifesting generators have this. So their energy can kind of go out there, and they can implement themselves. They can push themselves out into the world in a way that projectors can't. They actually need the energy resource of the generators and manifesting generators of the world. So projectors and advisors, they really need to interact with people. Okay? And in that interaction, they can be recognized, which is really what they want. And in that recognition, they can also help people. So if they're invited to share, they can actually help the people that invite them. So everyone benefits. This was huge for me. You know, projectors aren't meant to work in the same way that other people work. They're really meant to work more as coaches and counselors and healers and artists. Now, I also learned that I have this one channel here called the Creative Role Model. This is one of the places that I am defined consistently in my life. And it's a channel that wants to contribute to the world through creativity. For me, this was like coming home. This was very validating because I created a lot of different modalities and mediums through visual art, through storytelling, through writing poetry, through music, everything. And this was like, wow, this is really who I am, you know? And so there's more to say here, but just a little insight into my chart. Also why I feel so sensitive at times, because I have all of these motors in human design, the motor centers. So I get really, in the middle of a city, I'll get really like sometimes amped up too much. It's not my own energy. So I can get really spun out. And that can happen for a lot of people depending on how sensitive you are in your design. So let's look at this third shift, just the steps of that real quick here. Step one is to discover your human design and how to make correct decisions in the right timing. Okay? So step one to realizing your business and career of your dreams, discover your design, make the correct decisions in the right timing. Embrace your career type, interaction style, how you interact with others, and the gifts you've come to contribute. And step three, hear the voice of inner clarity and free your prosperity. And that's that inner truth we were talking about. And step four then is to experience the business and career you've been waiting for. Now, the fourth shift is to unleash your genius and live your design. Okay, so you learn it, but then you have to live it. And I want to talk to you for a few minutes about genius. Now, this is something, I have a strategy session in my coaching work with clients. Before I do 3 or 6 month coaching with them, we do a strategy session called Unleash Your Genius. And genius is a really fascinating concept we're going to get into here. So let's look at this right here. There is this concept. This is a very spiritual concept. It's very practical at the same time. In a lot of cosmologies in the world, including the Western tradition that really sources itself in Plato, we have this concept of the heavenly twin. This is known as the genius in Latin or the daimon in Greece. These are just the different vocabularies, so Greek and Latin. So daimon is very connected with demon. And actually the word demon comes from daimon. Now, daimon was not a negative thing at all. It was this heavenly twin, this spirit guide, essentially. Now what happens is your unexpressed daimon becomes your demon. But your repeating demons show you where to find your genius, gifts that want to emerge from you, through you. So the genius is like this latent potential we're talking about. The genius is not something that you can just, source out through a talent necessarily. It's something that comes from the beyond. And one of the things that's really fascinating with genius is that you have to negotiate with it. You have to trick yourself almost. Have you ever felt those moments in your life where you're like, you realize how you undo yourself, And so you kind of have to trick yourself to become yourself. And when I'm saying become yourself, I'm becoming the higher self, right? Becoming the essence of who you've come to be. Awakening or accessing that genius quality in you. Now here's another interesting thing is that in Greece, the word for happiness, the ancient concept was eudaimonia. See the word daimon in there? And that really meant to feed your genius. Feed your genius. And so anxiety and depression that we talked about earlier, overwhelm, it usually comes from not feeling connected to our genius. Or it comes from the complete structural shift in our lives that we have to make to accommodate the genius. What does that mean? It means when we've awakened to what those gifts are we've come to bring, sometimes we have to have a major life shift. Maybe we have to leave the relationship that we're in. Maybe we have to move. We're not in the right place for that genius to be acknowledged and recognized. Maybe we need a completely new business or career, right? So where do we find the genius? It's off the map, right? Now, we're all given these maps growing up, and usually we're given the map that's someone else's map. We call that conditioning in human design. We've all experienced conditioning. Parents, media, educational, religious. It just keeps going, political. So the whole thing with finding our genius is accessing the map that's true for us. And that's where design comes in. See, parents can't recognize the genius and destiny of their own children. It's very, very rare. It's because the genius doesn't come from them, but it comes from the spirit world, the divine source. Genius has to be found. It has to be kind of quested out, right? Like the hero's journey. And as we develop our self-awareness and we tune into systems like human design, it describes not only our genetic gifts, but reveals our unique genius code. So putting it into practice, once you live your design, this is the fourth shift, you can bring your original voice, your unique genius, your message and your magic to the world. Instead of that external validation, you're achieving results that feel successful to you on the inside. And you know that you're fulfilling your vocation, that calling. And you feel abundant and secure because you are being yourself, not somebody else. You're really being truthful to who you are. And you're finding peace in your purpose. And you're also finding prosperity there. Prosperity in a business that results from implementing your design, that ideal system to help you live and work smarter, but not work harder. So I want to give you a few examples of some clients and how they live their design. And then we'll get into some of the webinar attendees' design. So this is my client, Heidi. Heidi was a career type builder. And here she has that sacral center defined. And builder's strategy is to wait to respond. So the aura, we talk about auras in human design a lot. You know, we all can feel the auras of the people we're around. And the aura of the builder is to be ready. It's enveloping. It's ready to respond to something. And so for Heidi, it's all about following her gut. Now, she was someone that had 3 children, and she definitely could be influenced by them emotionally. She was open in this emotional center. She felt spun out by that a lot of the times. We had to learn, when we worked together, how she could, you know, use the gift of reflecting where her children were at emotionally without taking that on. And that's really the gift of those white undefined centers, is being able to reflect back to someone where they're at. But we have a tendency there to get conditioned, and that conditioning can really spin us out. If we're undefined emotionally, we can get spun out, taking on somebody else's emotional wave. And when they're low or upset or pissed off, we take it on and we spit it back out at them in an even bigger way. We amplify it. That can get really ugly. And we all can do this wherever we're undefined. We can take that energy on and amplify it back. And it never works for us. We get hurt by doing that. That's what human design calls the not self. We're not living our genetic code. And so it doesn't work for us, internally. And so we get burnt out, we get sick. So we worked a lot with that. We also worked with her stepping into her magic here. She's a family constellation guide. And she wasn't really confident doing classes and getting up in front of people so much. But she knew she wanted to do that. And she has this channel here called the channel of the alpha. And the alpha is the natural born leader. And it's the leader that uses logic in their life. They explain how this is connected to this, is connected to this. And it has this logical circuitry that then people want to follow them. They want to listen to them because they've taken them down this easy path to follow. And we started to learn between each other how she could actually implement this in her teaching, in newsletters, into sort of this logical conclusion. And now she has a successful practice, and she's been teaching not only in the States, but in other parts of the world and online. And she said that working together, one of the things that she really got, here we go, let's go back again, is that, working together really helped her with her family. We started with, as she said, a relocation reading for the family, which bloomed into a profound coaching relationship involving both astrology and the revealing insights of human design, for which I am forever grateful. By knowing the design of my children, I now understand their energetic relationship I have with them and their father, and how to best support them in their own soul's journey, without projecting cultural and societal expectations on them. All right, so there's Heidi. And I'm going to skip Marissa for now because I want to save some time for everyone on the call. And just want to mention Tim, because Tim's a different energy type. So Tim was ready for a major change in his life. He was really uncertain about his path. He invested in mentoring with me, but he was really not happy just doing his construction job. He was someone that was very drawn to metaphysics. And when we started working together, first thing we learned about was cultivating self-compassion, because he felt like he wasn't doing enough at that point. And we also built confidence in him, especially confidence moving forward as a guide and coach for others. Working together validated a potential he already felt within. Because Tim, he's the career type advisor, like myself. Now, he has a mental definition up here, and he's very, very adept with systems. He learned these tools like astrology and human design very, very quickly. And he's so open in his design that he can read people very, very well. This is the natural gift of the advisor, especially someone who's so open, but he's also so empathic. So he worked a lot at how to ground his energy and not take on all of the stimulus from the environment. And for him to get clarity, it's a 29-day process. He has to speak it out to those who are his confidants, that he respects and trusts. That's a very unique authority or inner truth that he has. And so when we worked together, there was a lot of ahas going off, and he said that the work I've done with Verdeluz has been indispensable in illuminating and accessing my connection with the great mystery. There's presence, patience, and insightful guidance integrating human design and astrology has empowered me to trust and love this journey on every level of my being. Good friends with him now. So great partnership and connection that we built up with each other. The last shift, before we look at some of the attendees' designs, is to invest in mentoring. If you're going to step into the business and career of your dreams, you need help. I know that for me, well, for everyone, mentoring saves time, energy, and money. The greatest athletes and business performers all have mentors. And when I hired a mentor, when I first did this coaching program about 7 years ago, it was the largest investment I'd ever made. And it totally changed my business model. Immediately, I started earning 4 to 5 times the amount. It was a night and day experience for me. And I wasn't working any more hours. So it's about finding the business model that works for you and your design. So, you know, my clients, they live their design and they're mentoring others through their design. And I want to invite you to align with your design. So here's the promises we made today. This is what we would discover. The necessity of recognizing the call, your vocation, your genius, and how to unleash it. How to find a business model that honors your genetic code and unique energy signature. The power of discovering a career path that feels satisfying for your energy. And why making correct decisions according to your genetics and your design can really make or break your business. What the profit potentials are, those 9 centers. The strategies for confident decision-making in your perfect timing. We talked about that. And how you can use this human design as a tool in business, in career, in relationships, in spiritual growth for the rest of your life and to help other people. And that you can actually apply this as one of the main tools in your own practices with your clients to earn more abundance and to feel like you're living a career on purpose. So the first shift to answer your soul's call for your sacred vacation is to be ready and willing. The second shift is to commit to self-awareness. The third shift, align with your human design. The fourth shift is to unleash that genius. And that means to live your design, to practice, to experiment with it, and to invest in mentoring. So, the way that I can help with that investment in mentoring is to invite you to this incredible training. We're super excited to offer this. It's a 6-week training, something I upgraded from a few years back. And we shifted the date. It's going to start May 14th, which is a Tuesday. We've got 6 weeks together. We're going to take a deep dive into human design as a tool for business and career success. So finding the career that will support you, where you feel lit up, as we talked about, or a business model that will work for you. You're finding your ideal clients. You're feeling like you're really stepping into languaging your work out into the world. So we're going to have a great community of people there. Oh, well, I think I clicked on the link here. Well, that's good. We can look at the link for the course. Sorry about that. So let's see. Do you see? No? Okay. Let me just check here. Okay, we're still on the slide. Great. So we have 20 ready and willing, committed people that are going to be a part of this. That's all we have space for. So the space is filling up. And there's a special bonus. Here's the link, findyourpowerplaces.com, Human Design Training. If you're interested in this course, we're going to stop enrollment in just a few days. But here's the thing. Those who are on this call, there's a special bonus if you act fast. Now, there's already 3 bonuses, which I'll describe to you soon. But if you choose to purchase the course and join us in the training on this call right now, then you also are going to get 2 other bonuses, which is the Business Astrology Forecast Report. This is the major opportunities and challenges for you in your business over the next 6 months. This is an awesome report, very insightful, $95 value. And then the Personal Astrology Forecast Report. And so the business and the personal coming, and this is a 3-month forecast for you on more of the personal level of your life. And that's a $75 value. So that's for those who want to join us on the call here And again, we have limited space. So let's look at we talked about who the training is for. So let's look at, I'm going to show you the page here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share a different screen just so you can take that link, and we're going to join here. And I'm going to show you the website just so you can check it out. And this should be it right here. So we see that website? Awesome. So here it is. Oh, it looks like the date is still the old date. Apologies for that. It may say May 8th, but it should be May 14th. And here you'll see all about the course, who it's for. And if you scroll down, I want to show you the other bonuses in the course, in addition to the 6 weeks of training. But we're scrolling down, sorry about that. And the first bonus, now there's 2 options to join the course here. And one is the $497 one-time payment. The other is the 3 payments of $197. All right, and those are just made over the period of the course. Okay? So by the end of the course, we'll have all those payments made. So I want to make that very, a great option for a lot of you out there who might need a little support financially. Either way, you get the 3 bonuses, these bonuses here. So the first bonus is your personalized career success code chart. So this is a chart that's going to show you 16 success codes, including the personal interaction, career type, how you process information, unique business skills, your public role, your life's work. Okay, so this is a $55 value. That's your personalized career success code chart. Then you get these 2 bonuses related to one of my passions and one of my niches, which is I help people with astrolocality, finding your power places around the world. The first bonus is power places for career. So in this report, you're going to have a list of the 75 most powerful and important locations for your career and business success in the country and region you live. So if it's the US or Europe, you'll get that. So these can be places that you never even knew were powerful for you. Places you could find clients or do business. The second bonus, astrolocality bonus, is a detailed report on any one location that you choose. So once you sign up for the course, you let me know, hey, I'm really curious. Maybe it's somewhere you might want to move to, take a vacation in. You're curious about what's going on in this location for you, how best to navigate that space and place. Then we do that report for you. So you get these 3 reports. And if you sign up today, then you're also going to receive those extra 2 reports. So we're talking about bonus items that are almost worth the value of the course. They're worth about $400. So you're not only getting the 6 weeks of training where you're with me every week, we're looking at your charts, very deep dive into your charts, in addition to charts that you can bring of a partner, business partner, friend, maybe a family member. And we're doing a lot of case studies and case examples of famous people too. This is how you learn human design very quickly, through a lot of examples. So I am going to teach you systematically about all of the types and all of the profit potentials. But really it's about looking at charts, and then you're going to learn it through the hands-on experience. Now, we're going to dive into the webinar attendees chart. So we only got time for a few people. So I want to know, whoever's been still on the call, who wants to look at a mini reading into their chart. So say it in the chat. You have to have your birth date, time, and place. And let me pull up the chat here. Oh, we got a lot of yeses here. Oh, well, it's Sarah's birthday, so I hope you're telling us the truth, Sarah. I'm a Taurus too, so I have to be a little partial there. So let's look at Sarah's, and we'll look at, is it Gowrie maybe? We'll look at Gowrie's too. So, okay, we're gonna just do 2 designs today. But even if it's not one of, that's not you, pay attention, because you're going to learn a lot about design just by looking at these charts here. So you should be seeing now the human design software, yeah? And so I need Sarah to tell me your birth data. Is it there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. And let me just put this in here. I'll just put you here. And I'm going to have my assistant Amy put in the chat box just another link to the human design training. Some of you might not have caught that. So if you could do that, Amy, that'd be great. Just put the link to the website where people can learn more and they can sign up while we're on the call to get those extra bonuses. So we got April 30th, 1975, 10:46 a.m. And then we got Manchester, New Hampshire. All right. All right, this will just take a second to load. There it is. One second. And all right, so let's take a look at this. There you are, Sarah. And all right. Well, it looks like we have this manifesting generator type. And all right, yeah, wow. Well, there's a couple things to talk about here. One of them is that you have this completely open self-center. Let's just talk about that, because those undefined centers are where we can get very conditioned in our life, where we can get very influenced by the environment. And since you have no definition there, see, it's all white there. There's no planets in any of the gates, or what we call gates, the genetic codons here. And this means that you are very influenced by the, let's say, the desires for people to be who they want you to be. You can be a chameleon. And now that could be a gift, right? Because you can just show up into a space and you can really be present to what everyone needs in that moment. This is beautiful. But it also is potentially a curse. It's a curse where we can sometimes become involved in codependent relationships. We can sometimes feel like we don't have our own center. And this can really spin us out into going on other people's paths instead of our own. And what one of your gifts is to be able to listen to your inner authority. And your inner authority is your emotional authority. The emotions are where you're going to get that clarity in you. And the emotions take time, requires patience. Now you have a channel in your design down here, the 3955, right here. And this is called the channel of the emotional spectrum. People who have this channel, they are built here to experience all that life has to offer emotionally. And that means a lot of highs and lows. It means an emotional wave usually that can hit some really deep, sometimes darker places, and also some static, enthusiastic places. What design would say is that for you to get clarity, Sarah, is to not make a decision in the moment, but give yourself enough time to ride that full emotional wave and come to that moment of clarity when you've been high and low, and you found that neutral zone, that neutral yes we talk about. And that's when you know you can commit your energy, because as a manifesting generator, as a catalyzer, when you get involved with a project, relationship, anything, career, you're going to keep busy doing it. You're going to get very involved, and you're going to want to say yes to everything that that project or person or everything is about. And it'll be very hard for you to back up once you've said yes, or to say no. That's really true for a lot of manifesting generators. So you don't want to get exhausted doing something you don't love. You want to get exhausted doing something you love, right? And then you're not really exhausted. You're passionate, you're enthusiastic, you're excited about it. So emotional clarity, and watch that undefined self-center, knowing that you can actually reflect other people's selves to them very, very clearly, because you're not bringing your own agenda so strongly. All right? So awesome. Thank you. Sarah says, that makes a lot of sense to me. Happy birthday. Now let's do our other chart here, which is Gori or Gori. So I'm going to put your birth data in here. Am I saying it? Is it Gowrie? 10, 28, 79. Then we're doing 19, 12, 17. Faridabad. India. Perfect. Okay. It's going to take a second to just load here. All right. Wonderful. So here we have the chart of Gowrie, and right away I want to mention something here that we call the split definition in human design. It's something we'll talk about in the training quite a bit. Now there's people who have a single definition, like Sarah did. There's people who have a split, there's a triple split, and there's even a quadruple split. That means that the different centers are either, communicating fully, flowing with each other, or they're split. And in this chart, we see that the throat center, the center of expression, and the self, the identity center, the center of direction in life, we have those connected, okay? But there isn't a connection between those and the other three that are connected: the will center, the ego center, the heart, and the emotional and the sacral center. So sometimes for split definitions, what happens is we find we need a partner. It might be one person, it may be a couple key figures in our life, it could be a coach, that actually bridge our split. They might have, for instance, Gary, if somebody had this gate, the gate of the receptive, the 2 right here, then if you're in the presence of that person and they have this, then you're going to have a single definition with them. And that means your emotional clarity, which is your center of authority, your inner truth, just like Sarah's was. It means that that's going to be connecting more to your gifts as a leader, and knowing how to guide people in this world through that leadership. You have that channel of the logical leader as well. But we would think that you would need someone to help bridge this split to get that clarity. So there are key, almost strategic relationships in your life. So that's the split definition. And you have 2 definitions to your emotional center, and they're what we call tribal definitions. Some of the channels in human design, these 2 here, are tribal. Some of them are individual and some of them are collective. And they each mean different things. But as you could guess, tribal channels are really connected to the people that are closest to us, a tribe, family members, closest friends, lovers. These are both tribal channels. So your emotional yes is all about who you're connected with, the intimate bonds. Is something going to give you deeper intimacy with them or pull you away from them? Is something going to connect you closer to your family, whoever that spiritual family you consider your family is? Is it going to give you more connection with them or pull you away from them? And that's what's going to give you your yes or your no in life. This is really, really strong to have those 2 tribal panels defined in your design. So we'll stop there. Gary, thank you for sharing. Thank you for offering your charts. And I'm going to go back to the screen. I just have a couple more minutes here with you all. And I'm just really excited that we've got some time to share people's charts today and that we can share our course coming up. So here it is again. You should see the screen with the design. And here's the link again, findyourpowerplaces.com/human design training. You have it in the chat box as well. If there's any questions you need to ask in the chat box about the training, feel free to ask now. I think we've had a couple people enroll, so congratulations. See, any questions, feel free to write them in the chat box before we end today. Barbara saying, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, Verdeluz. This was a great webinar. Thank you, Barbara. Are there different levels of the training? Thank you, PJ, for that question. Yes, the second level, so this is a certificate training, actually. Now, the first level of the training is this training, and then the second level is going to come later. That date is to be determined. Once we're actually working with the class members, we'll determine that. And after that second level training, when we go very, very deep into the system, then you're going to have a lot of confidence actually being able to do charts for people. You'll still learn how to do some basic chart readings in this course. But in order to do them professionally, you're going to need the second level of the training because you won't have all the pieces of design figured out yet. Again, this course, the focus is applying the system in your business, in your career, professionally. And, you know, you're going to also learn how to apply this in relationships and with your family members, because the system you will learn the nuts and bolts of the entire system. So it's actually a really wonderful value of being able to learn the system in depth, move towards a certification training, and gain some skill sets for other people in your life, clients that you can serve. Is this training going to be offered next year? I don't know. I really don't know. It really depends on a lot of factors. I move around a lot. I'm nomadic, so there's no guarantee of that really at all. So if you're interested, I would say definitely join now. We have the payment plan. There's some incredible bonuses that are worth almost as much as the whole course. I'll just say this. When I first started studying design, I was a little annoyed with trying to study deeper, because if you look online, there's really, most of the offerings are incredibly expensive. They're not very deep. They're very it's very slow and very methodical, which is fine. I'm very methodical and systematic myself, but I want to give a lot of value for what people are investing. I realize it's a larger investment. But on the other side of this, we're talking about creating a business that's going to work for you, the career that's going to work for you, which is really invaluable, because you could start making the kind of profits that you want in your career, attracting the right kind of clients. And so it's not just like this esoteric information. It's let's bring this into practicality. And that's what I've made this course all about. So I really want to inspire you to join right now so you can get those other reports, the astrology for your business forecast and your personal forecast. So any last questions before we end today? We'll explore, oh yes, of course, we'll be exploring your charts in the training every class. It's very hands-on into your charts. That's why I developed this class, so you can get feedback directly. Very cool modality for personal growth. Thank you, Denise. Yes, wonderful. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for today. Final questions? No one needs any special software. We're going to be meeting on Zoom every week, just like this. Every class will be recorded. There'll be some handouts. There'll be some homework. Again, it's a weekly class, about an hour and a half each class. There'll be some Q&A in each class. We'll do a teaching. We'll look at charts. We'll have some Q&A. So it'd be very, very hands-on into charts, and can ask any question you want throughout. So you don't have to have any background in astrology, design, anything. You just have to have a desire, a willingness, our first step, first shift, to learn about yourself and to implement this in your life. Because I'm going to give you prompts to start to bring this into your life?